Southsea Marina. Oh, hello. I didn't see you popping in just then. I'm just doing some passage planning. Would you like to passage plan with me? Lovely. No sailing today. Well, there's no sailing today because the weather forecast said that it was going to be like super strong winds. As it is, here in Brighton Marina, it's not gone over 20 knots, the wind, so I think Ketty could have more than handled that. That's why we have reefing sails. I often say, wind, I can reef. Rain, I can put my waterproofs on. Waves, I can't deal with waves. So waves are slight, and the wind is not as strong. I could have, but instead I've spent the morning. I've been to Asda, got some food, that was nice. What else have I done? Oh, I went to the chandlery and had a look around there. They didn't have anything that I needed or wanted. But today we are going from, oh, I can do this magically, look, see, ta-da! Brighton. We're planning to go from Brighton to Southsea. So what do I do first? First thing I do is I put it into Navionics and I see how far it is. After I've put that into Navionics, I have a look at the weather and I write that down. And then I'll have a look at windy. And then I'll work out how long it's going to take me, roughly, and I say about 3.5 knots, 3.5 miles an hour. So this journey will take however long that is, because I haven't looked at it yet. And then I will make sure, see if there's anything special that I need to know using the 2023 almanac. 2026 would have been nice, but I didn't have one and that was available to me. So let's have a look at this now. Route automatic. Tap on the map to add a waypoint. Well, let's just go from just outside Brighton, which is where we are. And look how nice Brighton is. It's massive, absolutely massive. Really nice facilities. Definitely would recommend coming here. And now we need to go to Southsea Marina, which is... No, that's Sparkles Marina. Where's Southsea Marina? Is it this one? Southsea Marina, yep. And we'll go to just outside that there. This will now do some thinking. And it will tell me that it is 38 miles, so call it 40. Southsea Marina, 40 miles. Now then, like I said, 3.5 miles an hour, and that is going to take 10, 12 hours. Alright, let's see what the wind is doing tomorrow. I'll jump to the windy app for this. Let's move that along to wind tomorrow. Well, it's blowing the right direction from Brighton to Southsea Marina. And it's blowing at a speed of roughly, you're going to tell me if I move that to there, so that's about there, 14 knots northeast. That's kind of perfect for me. And that's at 8 o'clock in the morning, 10 o'clock, oops, 2 o'clock, and then by 8 p.m. it's very little wind, and I should be around here by then. Let's move that to the roughly there. Again, 13 knots of wind. So I've got some good wind in the right direction. So the next thing I then do is look at the Inshore waters forecast, and this one here is for the North Foreland, which is just at the top of Norfolk, all the way around to Southsea Point, which is just a little bit to the west of me now. And because this was issued at noon today, what we're looking for is anything later than noon. So that's from midnight onwards, because I'll be leaving in the morning, and I'm interested in the 24 hours from now part of the forecast as well. So we can see that there's a strong wind warning there for now, this morning, in the next 12 hours. That's what later means. It will, in 12 hours or after 12 hours. Soon is 6 hours, imminent is 3 hours, by the way. So it looks like the wind strength is dropping and the sea state is acceptable. So let's transfer all of that now into my logbook. It might not make much sense to you if you've never read the thing that came from the forecast people, but this is this next 24 hours, that's the next 24 hours after that. So I'm going to be sailing somewhere in around this time period here, and we're looking at dropping down to 4, easterly dropping down to 4, and then easterly northeast 3 to 5, becoming variable 3 or less. This is interesting though. Showers, perhaps thunder later. So I do want to have another look at the forecast as I get closer. Let's just make sure that it never becomes a definite thunder, because I don't want lightning hitting the boat. I think that would be a bad thing. Okay, so I know the wind is blowing me the right direction. Are the tides taking me the right direction? Well, they will be, but when? Because I know that I'm doing approximately 12 hours, I'm looking at starting sunrise, which is 7:30 in the morning, but here in Brighton you can see the tide is still against me. So I could go out then and have a little bit of tide against me in the morning. It gets less by 8:30, and by 9:26 it's definitely pointing the right way. So do I want a couple of hours of tide against me? I've gone forward 3 hours from 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I don't know why I went 8, 9, 10, 11. That made absolutely no sense in my head. Oh, look, see. If we'll be around about here and it's starting to turn against me at 3:30. So, keep going. It's against me. It's against me. Oh, now it's getting stronger against me up here, and this is roughly where I'll be by 6 p.m. Well, okay, if I've left at 7, that's 11 hours. I think we're probably going to have tide against us no matter what. And I hopefully will be in by that time. Okay. When do I want to leave? I think I'll leave at 7:30, which will be in the middle of this. Oh, we're in Neeps, by the way, at the moment, so that's going to be 0.7 knots against me. Well, if I'm doing 3.5 knots, then that's going to be 2.8 knots that I managed to do. That's not a lot of knots. But later, when the tide is pushing me the right direction, I will of course go faster, which is why I average 3.5 knots. Doesn't sound fast at all, even though at times I might be doing 7 knots. There will be guaranteed times I'm only doing 1.5 knots when the tide is against me. So, I think 7:30 is a good time to leave. Let's have a look at what time sunrise is and sunset. Back to this East Channel tidal flow, and we can see just here at the top right, it's telling me that the sunrise is 6:03 and sunset is 8:06. And I said it's going to take me 12 hours. And if I leave at 7:30, I'll be getting there at 7:30, which is half an hour before sunset. Maybe if I get delayed for whatever reason, I'm going to be arriving in the dark. I don't like arriving at the dark in a new place without knowing what's happening. So now it's time to look at the buoys and the lights for some safe pilotage into the marina. And that's where this comes into it. Because on section, where are we? 9.2.26, we have Southsea Marina. And this tells us what the buoys are doing. So, I will need to pass a quick red, 2 fixed red, I then need to go to a flashing red every 10 seconds. I need to look out for a flashing red every 20 seconds. I can't quite see what that one is, but it says flashing red, flashing red, flashing red 4 times every 10 seconds, flashing red every 5 seconds, and then you're pretty much in there, and hopefully there's enough light around the area there to get me in. But I need to be able to get to this information fast, so I'm going to transfer it into what I call a rolling road over here. I've transferred this over to my logbook so I can grab it quickly and read as things are going off. So I've got a south cardinal. I've got a south cardinal to my starboard called 6L Winner, which isn't on this, but I found it on Navionics. I'll show you that in a moment. I then need to take a bearing of 328, and to my safe marker, you remember the red and white markers that we looked at the other day? I'll pop that to port and then go on a bearing of 347 towards my quick red flashing. Keep that to port because it's red. So then I've got 2 fixed red, that's easy enough. They are on the end of a jetty. But then look, I've got a flashing red on its own, and then there's another thing called a dolphin. It's a bit like a jetty, which also has flashing red every 10 seconds, the same as the previous buoy. That's interesting. Probably, hopefully, easy to distinguish. Normally you would have very different flashing signals so that they were easy to distinguish. But the fact that it's on a dolphin, hopefully I'll see it. Then this is interesting. We've got some flashing reds on some piles, but then we've got some red piles that don't flash. And we've got another flashing one, and then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 non-flashing piles, and then a flashing red beacon as I make my way down this channel. So hopefully it's light enough so that I can still see the non-flashing beacons. And then when I'm in this little area here, there's a waiting area. Let's have a look at Navionics. Brings me around, shows these non-flashing ones much better. This little symbol means it flashes, that means it doesn't. These green ones, incidentally, they don't flash either. Make my way along until I get down to this waiting area here. Okay, but look how much green there is around this. This is all drying. I wonder how much water I have in this channel. What's that? 1 meter? That's not very deep there, is it? What do we got here? 1 meter. Okay, so we are on, however, the 2 meter mark. That's where that line there, that puts us up to. Anything there is about 2 meters, but it just gets a little bit shallow. And thankfully we can see here that on Tuesday the 25th at 2040 we've got 3.3 meters on top of that 1 meter, so there's plenty of water for me there. And it's on the rise, look. As it goes further this way we can see that it gets even deeper to 4.1 at 11 p.m. So, now I know. The wind is pushing me the right direction. There will be enough water when I get there. I know what the lights are doing when I get there, so if it is dark, hopefully it won't be, I can see what I'm doing. I think I'm ready to go. Of course I'll check my engine and all of the usual stuff, but well, you'll find out tomorrow.
If you have found this little episode helpful in any way, and perhaps feel that you know a little more about how you could plan your sailing passages, then please join us as we work towards finding a cure for Parkinson's disease. Richard set off from Plymouth in May 2026 with a view to providing daily entertainment and information, both about sailing and Parkinson's disease. The goal is to raise at least £10,000 to help fund researching a cure for this devastating sickness. Your donation will not only help fund that research, but will also go towards helping those who are living with Parkinson's to live the best possible life they can. Over 166,000 people in the UK are currently diagnosed with this disease, and that number is increasing at a rate of 1 every 20 minutes. Let's put an end to that increase and start the decrease together. Donate today at gofund.me/hall.moon.turn. Together we are setting a course for a cure. Thank you.